What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy holidays to all of you. Happy Sunday, December 27th. I hope you had a great few days over Christmas, and it is time to attack this Sunday NFL card. I've had 3 days off. I'm refreshed. I'm ready to attack. Rob Bebenek in the house. Bebsy, how you doing, my man?
Not going to lie to you. I'd probably still be in bed if it weren't for this show, but I'm here. Let's do this. Let's get excited. It's time to make some money.
It is, and it's been an okay start to the week. We'll go over that right now. Shout out to all the cappers joining us here at odds.com. We got Nuke Worker, Dan Kelly. Dan Kelly saying the only reason not to be on New York Jets money line today is if you bet the Jets plus 10 earlier in the week. You know, I was so close to taking the under, but it kept going up. It was 47, went up to 47.5. I was like, okay, I'll wait. Went up to 48. I'm like, okay, let's just wait. And then all the COVID announcements, and it's down to 44.5. Screwed me. Nuke Worker, Dan Kelly, Amsterdam. What else in the house? Gerald Jones, Nate Dogg, David Sharp, Jay Thornton, Lance LaRose, Josh Point. Oh, we don't see enough of Josh Point. North Ender, Hustle, Wilson, Sebastian Cornwell, Tay F, North Ender, Marlon Z. What a great group. Sonny Griffin. Thank you guys all for joining us. Ron Burgundy, Brian Pacone, Cash Action Bets, Top Set, AB. Thank you guys. We have a lot of work to do, so let's get into it right now. Medium, Ugly, Bumbleclot, Sean Dozier, Jake Kaiser, Ryan Bottinelli, Triple Ricky. Thank you guys all so much for joining us. Okay, let's get to work right now and begin this attack mode. First, let's review what's going on and what we are in for because we have locked in a ton of action already. So let's just go over it. First off, this week I hit with Buccaneers first half team total over 16.5. Buccaneers full game team total over 32.5. And then I lost with Cardinals first half -3. So I'm sitting 2-1, and I only have 5 bets going. It's Bebsy who has got a huge card right now. I had Packers -3. I doubled up on the Bills first half and full game -4, -7. My 2 props, the one I told you all about on Tuesday, Le'Veon Bell over 56.5 rush yards and Jalen Hurts over 55.5 rush yards. Bebsy has missed with the Dolphins -2.5, cashed with Kyler Murray over 44.5 rush yards. So he's sitting 1-1. He's got Rams +2.5, Eagles -1. He got Browns -9.5 before the COVID announcement. Colts first half -0.5 and Colts full game -1.5. So doubled up on the Colts. He's got Washington -2. We'll know right before that game starts whether it's a win or you're in for Washington. And then here are his props. So he's already cashed with Kyler Murray. He's got Derrick Henry over 105.5 rush yards. David Montgomery over 81.5 rush yards. Jalen Hurts over 55.5 rush yards. Jonathan Taylor over 53.5 rush yards. Tyreek Hill over 76.5 receiving yards. And he's got a hamstring questionable thing hanging over him. I'm sure we'll get more information, but he's going to play. And then Logan Thomas over 47.5 receiving yards. There we go. Bebsy, anything you feel nervous about? Anything you feel more bullish on?
I'm not super keen about having the Browns -9 with them not having any players today. But, I still think they can get it done. I still think the Jets are the Jets. And I still think the Browns can really just run a run game and take that game over. So I hate what's happened with that bet, but I still think it can cash.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I just trying to wait to the best possible time to take the under, and it blew up in my face. Okay, let's get to work right now. Pull up everything we need to attack this card. Again, thank you guys for joining us. Al Surg saying 2 key offensive linemen out for Indy, as I'm sure you guys know. Costanzo is the big name, but we'll go over all of that. We'll go over all the injuries, all the COVID issues, everything that's going on. We're going to go right down the rotation numbers, which means we start with what has now become sort of a beauty because there's so many moving parts in Browns, Jets. This total, that I wanted under 47, but I was like, it goes 47.5, goes 48. Wait. Now I'm not going to bet it at 44.5, even though maybe I still should. Browns 10-4, 5-2 on the road at the Jets, 1-13, 0-7 at home. MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey, 37 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 2 miles per hour is the wind. It's just another week of great weather. The only spot we have inclement weather would be in Green Bay for the big game against the Titans this Sunday nighter. Browns coming off 26 win at the Giants. A win by the Browns also could set up something that we obviously did not expect. A Week 17 showdown at home against the Steelers for the AFC North title. Now the Steelers will have to lose to the Colts. Browns will try to make the playoffs without 4 wide receivers. So Jarvis Landry is out. The other receivers are Rashard Higgins, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Kadarius Hodge, all out. It all started with B.J. Goodson. He was the first to be placed on the COVID list after he tested positive. The person who was supposed to replace him, Jacob Phillips, rookie linebacker, is also out. So Mac Wilson's going to get a ton of snaps after being benched last week. Landry leads the team with 67 catches for 789 yards. T. Higgins, 35 catches, being a go-to guy for them. So they've elevated wideouts Jamarcus Bradley and Derek Willis from the practice squad, along with linebacker Montrell Meander. And they did get rookie left tackle Jedrick Willis back. He was activated from the COVID-19 list after being placed there on Thursday, so that helps. Wyatt Teller, their starting right guard, will miss his second game in a row with sprained right ankle. Chris Hubbard is done for the season with a knee injury. He's a very versatile lineman. Chubb and Hunt, it's going to be on them to roll. Each have scored 10 touchdowns. First pair of Cleveland backs to do that since 1991 with Mack and Horde. And they are 10-1 when one of them gets a touchdown. Chubb, 931 yards rushing. Hunt, 793. Defensive tackle Sheldon Richardson, neck. Malcolm Smith, hamstring. Andrew Sendejo, concussion, are all questionable. Ronnie Harrison Jr. remains on IR. Then we have this Jets team coming off their first victory of the season, 23-20 at the Rams, a 17.5-point underdog. No longer in position for the top draft pick. And Darnold, 22-31, 207 yards, 71% completion percentage, 99.8 quarterback rating. The Jets have scored on their first possession in 8 straight games. Defensive tackle Quinnen Williams done for the season. Cornerback Javel Guidry is doubtful with knee injury. Wide receiver Jeff Smith, shoulder questionable. Tight end Ryan Griffin placed on COVID reserve. Bebsy, you got hard luck again. COVID rearing its ugly head. You had the Browns at 9.5. It's now down to 6.5. This total is at 44. Is there any player props you want to add? Is there anything you want to add to this game?
I mean, it's pretty tough to add something at this point, especially given the sheer number of injuries. And forget who's pointing it out in the chat here. Dan Kelly is pointing out that, the Wills is out, Wyatt Teller's out. The offensive line is a bigger concern than I think the receivers, because I believe Kevin Stefanski, I tried to call him Stefan Kafansky, and Stefan is I think he's more than capable of getting something going. It's just whether or not the subs on the O-line can get the job done today. So I hum-hawed about adding those picks. I even thought about adding Kareem Hunt's passing yards. I think it's very reasonable that they like to get him the ball out of the backfield, but I'm going to leave it alone.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it alone as well. Movie aficionados here. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to leave it alone too. Lance LaRose is on the under. Vitalis said, you're still hesitant to take the under? Yeah. I just, when I could have got it at 48, and I literally had my finger on the button. I was like, no, just wait, just be patient. So no, I'm not. There's just no way. Even I'll hate myself. So I'm not going to take it down that low. Jay Thornton took it there. There's Lily Gunn. Merry Christmas, Lily. Great to see you. Birdie says, I think the over in the Browns game is a real nice look now. Is Jarvis Landry worth 4 or 5 points? You know, a lot of these COVID games that I thought were going to go real low have not. So this is just an uncomfortable spot, and I am doing nothing. We're going to move on. We have, as a group, a ton of action. I don't have a ton of action left, but I'm going to add some plays here. Nothing for me, and Bebsy's not going to make any additions. So, Bebsy, we move on to Cincy Houston. Let's go. Cincy Houston next up on the docket. We're just going down the rotation numbers. Thank you guys for joining us. Hope you all had a great holidays. Bengals 3-10-1, 0-6-1 on the road at the Houston Texans, 4-10, 2-4 home. NRG Stadium, Houston, Texas. Houston opened up at 9-point favorites. That's down to 7.5. This total at 45 or 45.5. And I can understand why people don't have faith in these Texans. Bengals 3-10-1, 14-point underdogs. Had lost 5 in a row before beating Pittsburgh in prime time last week, 27-17. That snapped 11 straight losses to the Steelers. Bengals will attempt to win consecutive games for the first time this year. It was their first win since Burrow went down with a knee injury. Finley was 7 of 13 for 89 yards, 1 touchdown, but got the job done. Tyler Boyd, top receiver, left in the first quarter with a concussion. He's now being ruled out. Linebacker Jordan Evans, hamstring. Center BJ Finney, abdomen. And linebacker Logan Wilson, ankle are all listed out. Texans are trying to regroup after a second heartbreaking loss to the Colts in 3 weeks. Watson, third straight Pro Bowl this week, second in the NFL with 4,134 yards, throwing a career-high 27 touchdowns, threw for a season-high 373 yards on Sunday. Their running back was their leading receiver. David Johnson caught 11 passes for 106 yards. They could only manage 83 yards on the ground. Duke Johnson out with a neck injury. Offensive tackle Titus Howard out with a concussion. Zach Cunningham, their inside linebacker, has been spectacular all year. Whitney Merciless tests positive for COVID and is out. That was a late addition for the poor addition for them. Cornerback Phillip Gaines is questionable with a knee injury. This has become a Cincinnati or no bet, I think. And I guess I'm leaning towards no bet. Bebsy, take it away. Bengals, Texans.
I'm kind of with you here. I agree. It's Cincinnati or no bet, but it's no bet for me because how can I lay money with Cincinnati? This is still a terrible football team, missing their most important player. I don't think that they're going to rally behind the win next week, much like last week, much like I don't think the Jets are going to rally behind their win last week. I think it's a point of pride. And if anything, it's going to be a let your foot off the gas because, hey, we did it. We won a game that nobody expected us to. So I just can't see them getting fired up enough about this game right now to put up a fight. So I can't lay money with Cincy, and look, what's left of the Houston Texans team, I can't lay money with them either. Poor Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
I couldn't find props anywhere on this game. I couldn't find them on FanDuel, and I couldn't find them on Bet365. So,
yeah, they're not up at Bet365. I'm sure they're up on FanDuel. Let me see if I can bring them up. But, yeah, Bet365 has not had them up. Let me FanDuel right here. Okay. If when I move over to this, who are you thinking about adding for player props here? I got them up.
If Deshaun Watson's were low again, I could see that.
Rush yards or pass yards?
Rush yards.
Okay. Deshaun Watson rush yards is at 27.5.
Okay.
Nilo's team total under 27.5 for Houston is good. The only reason why I'm not going to, again, we have a show on Tuesday. We break down all these games. And I should have taken the Bengals a 9.5 or something like that. And I can't take them at this price. A Red Girl, not concerned with the total at 44. She's on the under in Browns, Jets. Brady says on Houston here, I do think Watson turning the ball over. I do think we see Watson turning over like Bennett. They won't contain Watson. Bengals are strongest up the middle. Texans should have beaten the Colts last week. I'm having a real nice week. I'm having a real nice month. And I sitting here healthy in the black. And I don't know how much I need to add here or risk here when it's been so glorious. And I don't want to sit here and get a 7.5 when I could have got a 9.5. Although that would be my only play for me. Bebsy, anything you want to add here? Do you want that Watson prop?
I got to put a question mark beside that Watson prop and maybe add this by the end of the show. I want to do a little ponder in there, Jimmy.
Sure. All right. Well, let's keep rolling here. That is Bengals Texans, and I've not added anything. Here we get to an extremely interesting game that I'm sure we'll all be glued to. Colts 10-4, 5-2 on the road at Steelers 11-3, 6-1 home. Heinz Field, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, 36 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 6 miles per hour is the wind. Steelers open up as 2.5-point favorites. That moves over to the Colts. This total's gone from 45.5 down to 42.5, and not weather-related. Bebsy has 3 bets on this game, and I have none. Bebsy's on the Colts first half, -0.5. He's on the Colts full game, -1.5. And he's on Jonathan Taylor over 53.5 rush yards. Colts coming off 27-20 home win over the Texans. Have won 5 of 6 to take control of the AFC South. Darius Leonard has been so good this year. 12 tackles, give him 109 for the season. First player in franchise history to top 100 tackles in each of his first 3 seasons. He knocked the ball out of Coutie's hand with 19 seconds left to preserve the victory last week. Taylor averaging 103.5 rush yards over his last 4 games. He's moved within 158 yards of becoming Indy's first 1,000-yard rusher since Joseph Adai in 2006. Costanzo, knee, ankle. Guard Braden Smith, COVID. Wide receiver Marcus Johnson all out. A defensive end, Al-Quadin Mohammed, is listed as questionable. And then we have this Steelers spot. Before I break down all the Steelers action, talk to us a little bit about this Jonathan Taylor prop that you're on, and are you still bullish in this double-up spot?
Well, I'm a little disappointed because I didn't get the line that everyone else did. I mean, they were dogs before our Tuesday show. By the time the Tuesday show rolled around, they were favorites. That's when I bet them. Now they're dogs again. So, I mean, I just have horrible value on this. So that frustrates me, but I still just like Indy. Indy's playing well. Obviously, the injuries to their O-line hurt a ton. That's probably why Jonathan Taylor's rush prop was so low, but I still like the spot. Look, a lot of people in the chat saying the Steelers got to get right this week. We said that last week, and they got beat by the Bengals. Like, if there was a get-right spot for them, it should have been a divisional opponent as bad as the Bengals, and they look terrible against them. I can't back them until I see that Big Ben's arm is healthy enough to throw, and he really can't throw right now. So I think that defense swallows the Steelers' offense up today. Those short area passes that Ben loves so much this year that they really need to rely on because he can't punt that ball deep like he used to. This Colts team is built to eat that up. So I still like this bet. I hate that I got terrible value on it. And if I hadn't bet yet, I'd be all over them as dogs right now.
Yeah, no, and I mean, look, you're not in a terrible spot. You -1.5. I mean, it's not so bad. This game makes me extremely uncomfortable. It makes me extremely uncomfortable. When are the Steelers going to wake up? Are the Steelers going to wake up? What do you think of this total? I mean, we're getting low, man. 42? It's down to 42. What do you think of how low it is? Cash Action going to go over the top of it.
Yeah, I want to agree with Cash Action here. These are still teams that can put up points, although Pittsburgh really has struggled in that category lately. So I guess I understand the movement to it going down, but I don't know. I think it's maybe too low at this point.
I think it's maybe too low. I agree it's maybe too low. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, I'm just going to put a question mark there right now. Also see how low it does go. Going back to the action in the Bengals game, we have 77% of the cash on the Texans, 79% of tickets on the Texans. And then here in Colts Steelers, 60% of cash on the over. Tickets also on the over, and it's going under. Might be enough to keep me off of it, but sure is getting low. Dylan Turner says he's hammering the over. Red Girl with you on the Colts. M. Stroh says this game is confusing, making me rethink gambling. Oh, no. Oh, no. It is confusing. It is a tough spot. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you're dealing with a team that won 11 straight before losing 3 straight, now at home, and needs a victory to make sure that they don't have to play the Browns for the divisional title. A backdoor cover says just a game to watch. Al Cervic says I was all about Indy until those injuries happen. Steelers offense may struggle, but I foresee Pitt D just destroying today. God, too bad they've been so banged up, man. Too bad. Okay, so no additions here at this point. Again, we've locked in a ton of action before the show's getting off. And so Bebsy sitting at 82 and 65 on the year, plus 7.12 units, ROI plus 4.84%. Has a bunch of props in action here, and he's got a prop in this game that I almost took. I almost took this prop, and I didn't. Montgomery over 81.5 rush yards. Bebsy got it minus 112 at FanDuel. We're talking Bears, Jaguars. Bears 7-7, 4-3 on the road. Jaguars 1-13, 1-6 at home. TIAA Bank Field, Jacksonville, Florida. 58 Fahrenheit, sunny, 7 miles per hour. Bears open up at minus 7. They're now at 8.5. This total sitting at 46.5. Then with the tickets here, we have 88% of the cash on the Bears, 83% of the tickets on the Bears, and 62% of the cash on the under. And Gardner Minshew will not be starting, which was a surprise. He did not play well, but still, it was a surprise. Glennon making his fourth start of the season. Let's start with the Bears here. Bears coming off 33-27 win at Minnesota. Allen Robinson facing his old team. If he wasn't dealing with the hamstring injury, I'd be all over him in the prop market. One of 3 NFL players with at least 90 catches and 1,100 yards each of the past 2 seasons. I will not be making a move on him. Montgomery became the first Bears rusher since Jordan Howard in 2016 with at least 100 yards in back-to-back games. Gained 146 on 32 carries against Minnesota. He's gone over 100 in 3 of his last 4 games. And Bebsy's on him for over 81.5 rush yards. I get it. Chicago's changed since their offensive line has been restructured and much stronger. They have Mustipher is the starting center, rookie Sam Mustipher. Alex Barr is coming in to play right guard. Cody Whitehair moved from center to left guard. German Ifedi shifted from right guard to right tackle. In the 4 games since the changes on the line, Montgomery is averaging 108.5 yards. He averaged 52.4 yards in his first 9 games. Bears have scored 30 or more points in each of their last 3 games. Last time they were able to do that was 2013. Maybe I should just tail this immediately. Running back Cordero Patterson left Sunday's win with a knee injury. He only had 1 carry. He did return kicks. He's listed as questionable. Tight end Demetrius Harris suffered an ankle injury last week. He's ruled out. Cornerback Buster Screen, concussion. Cornerback Jalen Johnson's shoulder have been ruled out. Safety Dion Bush missed the last game, and we're waiting to know he's questionable right now with a foot injury. And then Khalil Mack and Akeem Hicks are questionable. I expect them both to play. Khalil Mack dealing with a shoulder injury, but they're banged up. Nose tackle Bilal Nichols, defensive end Mario Edwards, cornerback Duke Shelley, all listed as questionable. Talk to us about this Bears prop and if there's anything else you want to add, Bebsy.
Well, the reason I'm on this Montgomery prop is the same reason why I've been on the last week as well. Is look, the Bears figured out that the only way that they're going to have a reasonable offense is to pound the rock and let Trubisky be a game manager. And that's all they've been doing. And Montgomery's been tearing it up for them. So until the books catch up with it, I'm going to stay hitting this prop. I think this might be the last week for it because I feel like if he runs for, 100-plus yards again this week, they're going to have to start jacking up that prop. But right now, sitting at 81 with no other real options for them back there not any real options offensively because of Mitch Trubisky, I still love this play.
Yeah, it's a good look. Just going to see if it has changed at all. Yeah, it's up to 85.5. I can't take it. I should have taken it last night when you got on it. Ryan Bottinelli, great job. Ryan Bottinelli seeing another under spot here. What do you think, Bebsy? It's 46.5 up to 47. I guess the injuries on the Bears defense, even though it looks like these guys are going to play, it is concerning.
Well, yeah, I agree. I still think it's an under, even with the injuries. I agree with you. I think Hicks and Max still play. And let's face it, it's not like either of these teams are known for mega offensive output. So, yeah, I think the under is a very smart look here.
Yes. Let's talk about the Jags before we decide whether to add it to our card. Jensen Jimmy saying, point out the Jags are number 1 spot for the draft pick. They're going to lose on purpose. Jaguars coming off 40-14 loss at Baltimore. Glennon making his 4th start of the season. He started 3 games before getting yanked. After 4 interceptions in 6 quarters, also a lot of safety. Minshew regained the starting spot last week. It cost me a lot of money. He was sacked 5 times, missed several open receivers deep, took a safety, lost the fumble. had an interception that was returned for a touchdown that was negated on a roughing the passer penalty. So the Jaguars have ruled out running back James Robinson. He missed practice all week because of a left ankle injury. He needs 35 yards to break Dominic Rhodes' NFL record for most rushing yards by an undrafted rookie. He's out. Cornerback Sidney Jones placed on IR. Wide receiver Colin Johnson listed as out. And Vitalis says no team loses on purpose. Owners might not players. And that's something that Bebsy has also talked about often, Vitalis. So I agree with that. Wyatt Chapman says Jags will cover condo steamer COVID lock of century for Wyatt Chapman. Cash action is on the over. I don't know what to do with the Jaguars week in and week out. I wish that we weren't dealing with a banged up Khalil Mack and Akeem Hicks, because
you're still playing the Jags.
Their team total's at 17.5. I mean, I just can't trust. Are we going to trust? If we take the under, we need the Jags to slow down the Bears a bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason you don't bet shitty teams, and it's why a lot of these games I just look for props. And I still think that even though I get your apprehension because it's moved up, I still think that Montgomery prop is very much in play at 85.5. But I'm with you, Jimmy. There's apprehension for a reason, because a team as bad as the Jags is incredibly unpredictable. Yeah, you got to slow down the Bears and hope the Bears don't cover that on their own. Also, you never know with a team like that when just some guys can go off. They're still NFL players, so.
Yeah. David Trapp says by them putting Glennon in, the management is trying to lose. Minshew gives him juice in, and we know what Glennon is. Yeah. With that being said, I mean, clearly the only look is the Bears. But again, and look, you guys, I understand, that like 4 yards for Montgomery is not that big of a deal. 3 points on a total, 2.5 points, maybe might not be that big of a deal. But for me, what I've learned is if I never, ever move after the fact, if the market is moved to a point where I don't think I want to touch it anymore and I don't move, I have much more successful numbers. I look at my records all the time. If I never chase, if I just let them, I have to make a decision before the market moves to have success in this industry. And I need to be very strict about that because I spend all day doing it. I spend all day gambling. And so that's why, even though it's just a few yards here or there, I'd like to, sometimes I just talking about it makes my palms leak. Sometimes I still will chase, but I hope someday I never do, ever. Market moves, let it go, find another spot. I hope. And that's what I'm trying to do here. So I get it, Bebsy. I should have moved on it last night, 81.5 rush yards. And I was staring at the props last night, and Bebsy sent in what he wanted to lock in, and I didn't, and that's my fault. So let's move on to Giants, Ravens. That's next up. This total opened up at 45. It's now 44.5 or 44. Ravens opened up at minus 12.5. Now it's 10 or 10.5. M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland. Man, I can't wait till COVID is done. I need a road trip down to Baltimore. Love to see the Orioles play when it warms up. 39 Fahrenheit, sunny, 4 miles per hour. Giants are coming off 26 loss at home to Cleveland. Giants stayed a game behind first place. Washington at 6-8. New York has lost 2 in a row after a 4-game winning streak. Daniel Jones is expected to start. We all think Daniel Jones is starting at this point. New York has scored 13 points in their last 2 games. They've scored 30 in their last 3. Their offense is ranked 31st overall. They're 29th in passing. Their quarterbacks have thrown for 9 touchdowns this year. 1 in the last 5 games. In the last 3 games, the Giants have scored a total of 3 points in the first half. Graham Gano has made 27 straight field goals, 2 short of matching the franchise record held by Josh Brown. Bradbury will be back in the lineup. It was an easy under in that game against Cleveland. And had he been there, how low would that scoring have been? He's so important. He's had such a big year. Linebacker Kyle Fackrell, lower legs, not expected to be activated this week. We did think he was going to be activated. He's not. Not expected at this point. Wide receiver Golden Tate calf injury ruled out. Linebacker Blake Martinez is questionable. Bebsy, anything interest you before we break down the Ravens here in this spot? Take it away.
I thought about adding the Gallman prop, but these are two teams that rank in the top 10 against the run, so I kind of stayed off of that. Nothing overly exciting for me about this. It's really hard to figure out what the Giants are going to look like. I feel like their defense will play well, but I have absolutely no faith in their offense. Not even the way Gallman has played since getting his feet under him. I think at first when he was thrust into action when Saquon went down, he wasn't really tearing it up, and then he kind of figured it out. But I can't get too excited about it.
What do you think of this total? Again, it's dropped a half point or a point. Still not too much to really panic on, but these Giants are just playing low-scoring games, and I think we can trust their defense, especially with Bradbury being back. Let's just talk about the Ravens, and then I would love you to answer that question on the total. I'll look at where the money is. Ravens coming off 40-14 home beatdown of the Jags. Ravens have won 3 straight following a 3-game skid. 12-2 in December since 2008. Best in the NFL. You look at Harbaugh's coaching records, and, I mean, you take a look at this sad sack Raiders squad that lost last night. I mean, Harbaugh wins in December. Chucky does not win in December. Harbaugh does. Lamar Jackson's 11-1 in December with 10 straight wins. Ravens have averaged 40 points per game over the last 3 weeks. Jackson has thrown 6 touchdown passes and run for 4 more. And then defensive end Calais Campbell, listed as questionable for Sunday's game, is going to play. He's expected to play. And then they're going to find out about Marcus Peters right after the pregame workout, probably right now. Wide receiver Marquise Brown is a go. Des Bryant is questionable. Jimmy Smith, very important quarterback, being ruled out. Center Matt Skura, linebacker Pernell McPhee, fullback Patrick Ricard, linebacker Christian Welch, and safety Anthony Levine are all listed as questionable. Robert Cherry says, what do you think of the under in this spot? I'm very, very, very interested in the under the more that we talk about it. What do you think about it, Bebsy?
Yeah, I think the under is a nice look because both of these teams' strength really is the run. I mean, obviously the Ravens, no-brainer. And very quietly, the New York Giants are the 6th best team in the NFL against the run. So this does kind of scream like it'll be a bit of a dogfight. I don't see either offense opening up today. I do understand and appreciate David Sharp's look where he's looking at Daniel Jones' pass prop, which is set at 203 right now. It makes a good point. If they're 10-point dogs, they should have to be throwing, but I don't know if they're going to be dogs in this. I feel like this ends up coming down to the wire. I don't want to lay money with the Giants on this. It is a huge spread, but I like the way the Giants match up in this one. So it's a tough spot, but you're right about Harbaugh being great in December.
So good in December. So good. By the way, Red Girl's on the Jacksonville under, and I would too if I just had some faith in their star defense not being banged up, and if they take the lead. If I was up by 21 points on the Jags and I knew Akeem Hicks and Khalil Mack were really hurting, banged up, I would just pull them. So no move there. This under staring me in the face, Bebsy. You don't want it?
Here's why the under would scare me, and it's Daniel Jones' inability to protect the football. And the Ravens getting points off turnovers could kill your under. Other than that, I like the under.
44.5.
Until Daniel Jones consistently protects the football, it's very hard to make plays on him, where he matters in the equation.
Do you trust this Giants defense?
I've trusted this Giants defense for a while. This is a good Giants defense. I think their vulnerability right now is getting tired towards the end of the game if they've been taking a pounding from this run game.
Jake Thornton has a good point. It's like if you like under 44, you have to like Giants plus 10.5. Not necessarily. I mean, if you saw a final score of 27-10, it wouldn't surprise anybody in this game. Big Bad Bob took the under 44. I think this under makes a ton of sense. If I gave you an option, Bebsy, here, you could have the God, I hate that juice. So you could have the under 44, or you could have the Giants team total under 16.5. What would you take?
Sorry, say that again.
You could have the full game under 44 here, or the New York Giants team total under 16.5.
I think I would take the Giants team total under because I'm gonna say the best point being made is Harbaugh in December versus Daniel Jones not being able to control the ball, protect the ball rather. So that would be, if I had a free play and I had to choose between them, I would take the Giants team total under.
Brady says hard to get margin in under games when you have to get 10 plus points. So I understand that. I hear you. Beautiful Murder liking Pittsburgh here. Al Cervic saying Danny looked worse than McCoy. I like this Giants defense. What offense do you find more difficult to stop? Baltimore Ravens or Cleveland Browns? Healthy Cleveland Browns, not this week's Cleveland Browns.
I would honestly have to say Cleveland just because I trust Mayfield throwing the ball more than I trust Greg Roman's passing game. I just trust Kevin Stefanski to be more multifaceted in his offense than Greg Roman has been time and again. He gets too caught in RPOs, and he really, everywhere he goes, they have a weak passing game.
I'm going to move on the under 44 at minus 110. I do like that team total at 16.5 for the Giants, but it's minus 125. God, it's so juiced. Minus 125s will kill you. But I do not see the Giants putting up a bunch of points against this Ravens squad. Okay, I'm going to move on the under. I might move on that team total. It's just so juiced. Too juiced. I mean, there's keys that you have to ask yourself when the juice starts rising. And that's why I thought that we had to get Bebsy in a spot where he wasn't always using these minus 120, the minus 120 juice that comes with Bet365 props. I mean, Bet365 is begging you to take a prop. Would you say that you have to ask yourself at minus 125, would you say that the implied probability of the bet that you're making has a 55.56% chance of cashing? And I think I would in this Giants team total under, but that has stopped me from making a ton of bets. Thinking about what's the implied probability of this bet you're about to make. Minus 125s will kill you. Okay, let's move on. I do think I'm going to add those two unders at this point. I do think so. All right, we got DJ Big Boss in the house. Razor Sharp picks to 10 straight winning days for Razor Sharp picks. Giants might let up more points from offense than their defense. Turnover scared me from Giants, which could lead to some easy points. Mr. Gokster in the house as well. A great group. What a treat it is to cap with all you guys here. I hope you had a great holidays, refreshed and ready to attack. All right, let's go. We move on to Falcons, Chiefs, Arrowhead Stadium, Kansas City, Missouri, 46 Fahrenheit, sunny, 11 miles per hour. The Falcons are 11-point dogs right now, and the total has dropped a half point from 54 to 53.5. So I told you guys how bullish I was on Le'Veon Bell. This is like, I swear, the first time all year that I can remember doing it. I've been so strict about the $200 units, and I think I've been too strict. I think I got to let that go. I have made half unit bets, but I haven't been going over that $200 mark. I did a unit and a half over 56.5 rush yards on Le'Veon Bell last night. I'd be very curious to see what it's at right now, if it has moved at all. This was the spot I was just so excited about betting, and I'm not a fan of Le'Veon Bell, but I like everything he's done this year and what he said, and it has dropped. It has dropped to yards. Okay, take off some of my bullishness there. Bebsy moved on Tyreek Hill over 76.5 receiving yards. That is still at that number, 76.5. Bebsy also thought that the Le'Veon Bell receiving yards was a live look. That's at 19.5 yards. So that's the moves we've made here. Let's quickly talk about.
That's down.
That is down?
Yeah, I think when I looked last night, it was at 26.5.
Wow. Oh, Birdie, I hope it cashes for us, my man. Wow. Okay. Jay Thornton saying Tyreek going for at least 80 today. Why don't we talk about the Chiefs first, then we'll get into the Falcons. Chiefs coming off 32-29 win in New Orleans. The Chiefs can clinch number 1 seed in the AFC and the first round bye with a win. Trying to score 20-plus points for the 29th straight time would break their NFL record. Mahomes has thrown a TD pass in 25 straight games, longest streak in club history, longest active streak in the NFL. Needs 538 yards passing over the last 2 games to join Breeze as the only quarterback in NFL history with multiple 5,000-yard seasons. Tight end Travis Kelce needs 60 yards receiving to break the NFL record for a tight end set by George Kittle last year, 6 yards behind DeAndre Hopkins for the lead in the NFL. Clyde Edwards-Helaire won't play. And that, for those of you who missed the Tuesday show, I was just, the way Bell called Clyde and said he wouldn't sign unless Clyde Edwards-Helaire approved of it. Everything he's done, how positive he's been on the sidelines, everything he's done has impressed me after a long time of not impressing me. And that's why I'm moving on this Raj prop. Linebacker Damian Wilson has been ruled out with a knee injury. Defensive end Frank Clark illness is questionable. Wide receiver Tyreek Hill hamstring is questionable, but is expected to play. Talk to us about your Tyreek Hill prop and if there's anything else you want to add.
I think I'm going to add that Le'Veon Bell pass prop. If it's gone down to 19.5, I mean, there's just so much value there. The reason I jumped on the Tyreek Hill prop is because, look, they're not facing a good defense. We know that the Chiefs are more than capable of lighting it up, but the way Kelce has been going off lately, and he's been an absolute monster, keeps me off the Kelce prop, but tells me where else do these throws go to. And I just think Tyreek Hill is due for a monster of a game, and this is an easy spot for it. So I thought that was a very reasonable number to jump on. But, I really think this Lev Bell pass prop is in play now too.
Very interesting. Kelsey's at 81.5 receiving yards. That looks feasible. Maxwell Smart in the house. I'm capping NCAA basketball with Max tonight, and I look very much forward to watching his role continue. He's up 18.47 units in his last 7 shows with us. Unbelievable. Let's talk about the Falcons a bit here. Falcons coming off 31-27 loss at home to the Bucs. They led 17-0 at the half. Ryan set a career high by completing 11 passes to 11 receivers against the Bucs. Calvin Ridley looked awesome. 77 catches for 1,192 yards. His first 1,000-yard season. He has 700-yard games this season to lead the NFL. Younghoe Koo, 2 field goal attempts he made. He's hit 27 in a row. Second longest streak in Falcons history. Julio Jones out. Center Alex Mack out. That's going to hurt. Mack, 6-time Pro Bowler, missing his first game of the season with a concussion. Left guard James Carpenter, a third starter, will miss the game with a groin injury. A free safety Ricardo Allen listed as questionable with a concussion. Return specialist Brandon Powell, foot injury. Rookie defensive tackle Marlon Davidson listed as questionable here. So, any interest in the Falcons at all? Any interest in Calvin Ridley receiving yards, even though that's not available for some reason here? None of the Falcons props are available right now. Why? Interesting. I'd have to go to FanDuel to see what it is. Anything else interest you in this game? 11-point spread and this total at 53 now for 54.
No, I'm not going to touch that, but I am going to add that Lev Bell receiving props.
Wow, okay. So you're going to add the Lev Bell receiving props over the rush props?
Yeah.
Wow. So why do you think it's dropped?
I don't know, but it's dropped enough for me to like it.
Well, let me line shop for you here so that see if we can keep you away from that minus 120 juice that I would be forced to take if I bet it. So Chiefs, here we go. Player props. And Le'Veon Bell rush yards here is at 53.5. Wow. Why would it be going down? So it's at 20.5 at minus 110 or 19.5 at minus 120. Which one do you want, Bebsy?
Sorry, say that again. I was reading the chat.
It's a one yard will cost you 10 cents. So it's over 19.5 at minus 120 or over 20.5 at minus 110.
I'll take the 20.5.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Okay, Le'Veon Bell over 20.5. Sorry, here we go. 20.5 receiving yards at minus 110. That's available at FanDuel. And I'm going to be betting this Lev Bell prop. God, why would it be going down? MMA Locker Room saying Atlanta 9th in rush defense. It's not a high number. It's not a high run. Christian Larson saying Falcons decent against the runs. They're one of the worst defense against tight ends. AB has a very juiced market for Ridley, 83.5. Ron Burgundy has 87.5.
Well, maybe it's time to jump on that Kelsey prop too. I didn't like hearing about the Tyreek Hill hamstring issue though.
Yeah, I mean, he's banged up. Do you want me to line shop for you for Kelsey? 80.5 at minus 110 at FanDuel. And it's 81.5 minus 120 at Bet365.
For Kelsey?
Yeah, for Kelsey.
Yeah, you know what? I am going to take it at FanDuel.
I'm going to pull you out very quickly. You're a little fuzzy. Let me just get you out in here 1 second. See if we can get him out. Oh, we have a fuzzy Bebsy here. Let me just try one more time. Looks good backstage. Then we get him on, and it's fuzzy. Okay, we'll see if that cleans itself up here. Okay, so you're saying yes to the Kelsey prop?
Yeah, I think so, and I think that maybe covers me a bit if Tyreek Hill's hammy's not ready to go.
I agree. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Over 80.5 receiving yards. And, God, now I'm beating myself up for the 1.5 on the rush yards. You know what? What I'll do is I'll make it a full unit play here, but I'll bet a half unit on his receiving yards, and then I won't be as scared. Okay, so I'm gonna come with you on the Bell receiving yards here. Now I'm not gonna get the number that Bebsy got. I'll have to bet it at Bet365, so it'll be minus 120 for me. So it'll be slightly different than Bebsy's. Okay, there you have it. Let's roll. Jake Kaiser says, a Chiefs fan, I lean to his rushing under. Chiefs O-line isn't that good, and Bell hasn't impressed me that much, from Jake Kaiser. Well, I hear that, and that's why it's low and getting lower. And I think that the sentiment around NFL fans is they don't like him. I've been very impressed with him. Bobby Hooper in the house. Thank you for joining us, Bobby. And Jay Thornton says, Tyreek's hammy's always about to tear. Nothing to worry about. Okay, let's move on.
He is often on the injury report for possible hamstring problems.
Yeah, I think we're oh, shit, sorry. Okay. All right, let's move on here right now. And what's going on? Why? Sorry, have we lost Bebsy on our feed here?
I'm right here, baby.
Yes, I see you, but it's okay. Can everybody see Bebsy? Okay, everyone says yes. Okay, I'll just keep moving along here. Next up, we move to the 4:05 games. 4:05. We're going to move to. He's back. Okay, we did lose you for a sec. You're back.
I don't know what's going on. I'm hardwired here.
All right. Yeah. It's still blurry, but okay. I think it should fix itself. It looks like it's better it looks better to me. We'll check it out in a couple minutes. Okay, let's roll. Broncos, Chargers next up, and they have not offered me this Justin Herbert passing prop. Been sitting here waiting, and it's still not available. They're afraid to drop it. And this is a perfect time to attack it. And also, I thought this was a perfect time to attack the Chargers, but they're dealing with injuries as well. And I didn't, even though 2.5 seems like a reasonable number, but I wanted to talk it out with you guys. SoFi Stadium, Inglewood, California. Broncos 5-9, 3-4 on the road. Chargers 5-9, 3-4 at home. Broncos coming off 48-19 home beatdown delivered by the Bills. The defense surrendered its most points since Fangio took over. Drew Lock 8-8 in his career, 21 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. This year he's thrown 13 interceptions, lost 3 fumbles. One of the issues that they had, Prince of the City had over 255 for Herbert. See, I would back that immediately. I don't know what you think. Ron Burgundy 258. Nate Dogg has it at 274. Jeez. Okay, that is not what wow, that's a big difference. Man, it's so important line shot. So Brandon McManus is back. He was on the COVID-19 reserve list. Their replacement, Taylor Russolino, looked absolutely awful. Missed 3 of 4 kicks. Short second half kickoff. He looked terrible. Bradley Chubb out with an ankle injury. I mean, that's just such a huge deal to me. But the market doesn't seem to be moving because of it. Philip Lindsay missed the game due to shin and knee injuries. He's on injured reserve. Cornerback Nate Hairston, defensive tackle Deshaun Williams, running back Royce Freeman, all listed as questionable. Chargers on extra rest and preparation after their 30-27 win at Vegas. Justin Herbert, 27 touchdown passes, tied with Baker Mayfield for the most by a rookie in NFL history. 290.8 passing yards per game, a third in the AFC. He needs 219 to become the fourth rookie to top 4,000 yards. Austin Eckler averaging 105.5 scrimmage yards since returning from his hamstring injury. Wide receiver Tyron Johnson leads the NFL with 4 receptions of 50+, 22.5 yard receiving average, best in the league. Hunter Henry, third in the AFC among receptions for tight ends with 60. He's on COVID-19 list. He won't be there. Chargers defenses forced 3 and outs on 21.55% of their possessions, 4th highest percentage in the league. Joey Bosa, he's out with a concussion. So you have no Bosa, no Hunter Henry. Keenan Allen is questionable. Linebackers Uchenna Nwosu and Kaiser White have been placed on injured reserve. Linebacker Denzel Perryman is questionable. Is that enough injuries for the Chargers to stay off this game, Pebsy?
I don't think I could bet on the Chargers for 2 reasons: the injuries and Anthony Lynn. Now, I understand that Vic Fangio doesn't have a lot of love in Denver, but at least Vic Fangio is a great defensive coordinator. So I would give a slight nod to Fangio in the head-to-head coaching department. But yeah, I can't back the Chargers with all these injuries and their head coach. What I could back is if Prince in the City's got Justin Herbert at 255 for that pass prop, I would hammer that. I would jump on this over. But other than that, I don't think there's much of a look for me in this game because it's hard to lay money with either one of these teams. Even with the injuries, I still think the Chargers are better on paper. And I agree with you. That injury to Chubb is huge because he dials up so much pressure. Even when he's not getting home, he's still the guy who was supposed to have Herbert off all day. But now Herbert's pass props just scream over to me. Unfortunately, we can't seem to get any here.
Well, I can give as soon as it's available, I would like to attack it. But for our show, I can lock you in. Let's see what they're giving you at FanDuel here. And we can just lock you in on it. We are an hour and 3 minutes away from kickoff. And let's see what we can give you. Justin Herbert passing yards, 258.5. It's juiced to minus 124, though.
I don't like the juice, but I like the number.
What would you like to do?
I think I'm going to take it. I really just can't see them getting to him.
I want it as soon as I can. That's at FanDuel for Bebsy. Yeah, Nilo doesn't. Yeah, it's not up. They haven't been up. I've been waiting and waiting. It's not like they took him down. Jalen Walker says Herbert 262.5. You think it's a go? Jalen Walker, please tell me that comes with like minus 110 or less juice. Birdie says, who's he passing to though? I mean, the only guy that we have enough faith in is Tyron Johnson deep and Austin Eckler short. That should be enough. I think. Is that enough, Bebsy?
I mean, I'd like to have a few more weapons with him, but again, who's? Oh, you can ask who he's passing to, but who's stopping him? There's nobody healthy on the Denver side.
Jay Thornton said, making a good point. Guyton stepped up last game. All right. Okay, so there you have it. I want this Herbert prop badly, and I will bet it as soon as it's available to me.
I think Birdie's a Denver fan, isn't he? Birdie, are you a Denver fan?
All right, we have a frozen Bebsy now. I'm going to pull him out and bring him back in here. Okay, he's moving now. Let's see. All right, let's keep rolling here. We're going to move on to Carolina Panthers at Washington. That is next up. Here on the overseas, Bebsy got that Afghan dial-up internet. Usually his internet's money in the bank. There's Cup of Sun in the house. Great to see you, Sam. I hope you're good. Okay. We move on. Okay, no way. All right, let's move on to Panthers, Washington. So this is a spot where Bebsy's moved on 2 spots. He's taken Washington -2 at -105 at BetMGM. He's also on the Logan Thomas over 47.5 receiving yards prop. It's so funny that I've fallen in love with this guy, Logan Thomas, and I've yet to bet any of his props. Washington opening up as -2-point favorites. That's flipped. Carolina is now 1-point favorites. This total opened up at 45. It's now all the way down to 42. DeJuan says Washington all day. A big market move here. Let's talk about the Panthers first. Panthers coming off 24-16 loss at Green Bay. Panthers outscored them 13-3 and outgained them 214-49 in the second half. They keep covering his dogs. They've lost 8 games in which Teddy Bridgewater had the ball in his hands on the late fourth quarter drive with a chance to take the lead or tie. Unbelievable. They're going to be without McCaffrey and Brian Burns. So their top running back and top pass rusher. Matt Rule said both players are doubtful after missing practice. So, maybe that could change. I don't know if that has changed, but we do not expect them. Joey Vane, great to see you. Diehard MMA podcast says the return of Antonio Gibson. I'm taking the over receiving prop. You made a ton of cash. I do always get scared. You know me, Clint. I never take a player prop when he's coming back from injury, but you cashed so much on him before he got hurt. So cornerback Troy Pride, hip injury, doubtful. Left tackle Russell Kung, calf muscle, missed practice this week. So doubtful. Now we have 2 players in the running for AP NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year in Jeremy Chin, who I've talked so much about on this show, the nephew of Steven Atwater, and Washington defensive end Chase Young. Chin leads all rookies with 101 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, a sack, 2 defensive touchdowns. Young, 38 tackles, 5.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and he was picked for the Pro Bowl. Youngest player in Washington franchise history for the Pro Bowl. Washington coming off 2015 loss at home to Seattle. Haskins 38-55 for 295 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Then went to a strip club, was seen without a mask, stripped of his captaincy. Alex Smith has not made enough progress. The chat has told us that it is Haskins who will be starting. The NFL moved this game to 4 p.m. Eastern, so the players will know when they take the field whether they're in with a win. Wide receiver Terry McLaughlin doubtful. Antonio Gibson questionable but expected to play. Kevin Pierre-Louis questionable. Linebacker and linebacker Thomas Davis out. Oh, we have a frozen. Sorry, I didn't realize that. Frozen Bebsy here. Thank you, guys. Bebsy's gone. Straight up gone. Okay. Might need Bebsy to load in with his internet again. Now he's gonna come back and load in. All right, let's see what's happening here. So he moved on Washington at -2, -105. And then let's see where the money's gone in this game here. Very even. 52% on Washington cash, 54% of the tickets on Washington. This total has 51% of the cash on the under, 53% of tickets on the under, This is such a close spot that even when Bebsy was bullish on Washington on our Tuesday show, I was hesitant to pull the trigger, and I still am. Leo Mack, great to see you. Leo says Teddy B's as a dog, such a profitable system. I was not even concerned. I took him early against the Packers at 8.5. That went up to 10, and I still cashed it comfortably. David Sharp says 54% of money on Washington. Why does the line switch? Okay, let's bring Bebsy back in. There we go. There, he's looking good. Bebsy, talk to us about your spot on Washington here.
Yeah, sorry about that. Just had to reset the old bullshit Rogers internet, but no, I'm heavy on Washington here. I still like them, regardless of the fact that Alex Smith's out. I just think this team, they're going to take this division. I think they believe in themselves. I like Rivera going up against his old team. And I think Haskins can get it done today. I don't love that Haskins is playing. Obviously, I'd be a lot more comfortable if Alex Smith was in, but I still very much like this play.
Air maybe says Haskins is garbage, so the line reflects that. Ulysses Hayes is on Carolina. Swervin says, can't trust Haskins, give me Teddy. I am not going to make a move. Not going to make a move here. We move on to 4, and Big Bad Bob saying Haskins is confirmed. Slot saying Haskins, what a clown, wouldn't put your money on him. Dewan says Rivera knows his team and his game plan will keep them under 21 points. That's an interesting idea. This total has moved so strong to this under. But let me see what the team total is here. 20.5 for Washington football team. Both team totals are at 20.5. Very, very interesting. What do you think of that team total under for the Washington? Oh, I guess you like them to win, so you would take the over 20.5, or you think they can win with under?
No, I think they can still score. I think if they ride Gibson, I think if they limit what Haskins has to do, I think them and their defense could win this game.
Diehard MMA Podcast says, what did Bebsy get for Thomas receiving? He got 47.5 at Bet365. Be curious to see what is that right now. Let's see.
I think it's gone up.
Yeah, it's gone up to 49.5. All right, I like it. Let's keep rolling here. We move on to Rams, Seahawks, Lumen Field, Seattle, Washington. Rams 9-5, 4-3 on the road. At the Seahawks, 10-4, 6-1 at home. Seahawks open up as 2.5-point favorites. That's now 1 or 1.5. Bebsy got in on the Rams early, plus 2.5, minus 110 at circa 46 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 6 miles per hour is the weather. Rams coming off an embarrassing 23-20 loss at home to the Jets. They had won 4 or 5 to surge to the top of the NFC West. They would have been in prime position for their second division title in 3 years had they not lost to the winless Jets. That's the same team that Seattle hammered 40-3 a week earlier. Crazy. Los Angeles can still claim the division with wins over Seattle and in Week 17 against Arizona. Unbelievable. The Rams also need one more win or some help from others to clinch a postseason playoff berth. Los Angeles dominated the first matchup with Seattle in a 23-16 victory. And I know 23-16 doesn't sound like domination, but it was. Rams sacked Russell Wilson 6 times. DK Metcalf was completely shut down by Jalen Ramsey. He caught 2 passes for 28 yards. But, and there's a big but here, Seattle was without Chris Carson and Carlos Hyde. And this is a big difference. You add a running game to Seattle, and they're much tougher to stop. LA's 8th in the league in total yards offense. 383.2, 10th in red zone percentage, 64.7%, and they are 17th in points at 24.6. So strange that 8th in total yards, 10th in red zone touchdown percentage, yet 17th in points is a strange number. Rams have the NFL's best passing defense, 192 yards per game, league low 15 touchdown passes against 13 receptions. Darius Williams has been a breakout star alongside Jalen Ramsey. Safety John Johnson leads the Rams in tackles and captains the defense. And Rams will be missing Cam Akers. Before we get into Seahawks, you must be happy that you got in at plus 2.5. Now that it's down to 1.
Yeah, anytime you beat the market move, you got to be happy with it, especially because it feels like everything else I've done this week has gone the other way, which is a bad sign. But no, I mean, I was looking for this game early. I wanted to see what it would be. I really thought there'd be a recency bias against the Rams. There wasn't a huge one because this is still a divisional matchup and it should be close. But I love the Rams in this week. I love McVay coming back after that embarrassing loss. And again, I said this on the Tuesday show. I just love the way the Rams match up against Seattle. I think when you have a corner like Jalen Ramsey, who is capable of covering DK Metcalf one-on-one and following him around the field, that is such a major advantage to this Seattle offense. And this Seattle passing defense just isn't good. They are healthy receiving-wise for the Rams, and I like this matchup. I like the way it works, and I just love McVay coming off this loss and really getting it together.
DK Metcalf receiving yards is at 67.5.
And it should be low. I wouldn't touch the DK Metcalf because Ramsey's going to shadow him today.
Well, what about going under?
It's low enough that I'm scared of the under. But WTF, the Lockett prop was the one I was looking at in this one. And if I had to play one, I would. That would be it. But again, Lockett's not got an easy matchup either against Darius Williams, but I do think he'll see more targets because I really think Ramsey is going to be all over DK Metcalf. Both teams need this win, Bob.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Let's talk about the Seahawks just before we put a bow on this. We are a nice pace here because we had the 3 Saturday games, so we're going to have lots of time to get best bets in before kickoff. Seattle coming off 2015 win at Washington, can win the NFC West for the first time since 2016 with a win. The Seahawks defense for the last 6 weeks has been so much better, one of the better units in the league. So halftime in that game against the Rams was the change. From that point on, they've been good. They held LA to 6 points and 114 yards in the second half. Since that game, the Seahawks have held 3 of their past 5 points to under 300 total yards. And Arizona's 21 points in Week 11 are the most allowed by Seattle. Cornerback Trey Flowers put on injured reserve. So has wide receiver Philip Dorsett. Cornerback Quentin Dunbar and guard Philip Hayes. Mike Iupati, guard Mike Iupati, doubtful. Running back DJ Dallas is out. And Takashi, yeah, it is the finals in all of the fantasy leagues. So everybody, and I know a ton of you guys are involved. Good luck, get paid, win.
I hope none of you had to face Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, wow. Rams, Seahawks. Bebsy on the Rams plus 2.5. And I guess I shouldn't get the 67.5 DK Metcalf prop is nice, but we do know what happened in that game. The Seahawks couldn't move the ball on the ground, so the Rams were able to put all their attention onto DK Metcalf, and Ramsey stopped them. Will that happen again? 67.5 is a big number after getting 18 yards the game before.
I mean, you can't put it at 18 because he's more than capable of covering with one pass, but look, Ramsey locks in on these games, and I'm just man, I might be one of the only people in the world that likes Jalen Ramsey. Everyone seems to hate that guy, and I get why. But he plays for a rival of my team, and I just love watching that dude play.
Big boy. Okay, so no move for me in this spot. No move for me, but it's a tough one. I'm just going to leave it alone.
The other factor, too, and I mentioned this Tuesday, I haven't mentioned it today, is with Mikey Potty out, the middle of that O-line is susceptible facing a guy like Aaron Donald. So, look, I'm not trying to talk anyone into betting the Rams here. I'm just comfortable with my play for a myriad of reasons, that being one of them.
Yeah. No, I hear you. All right, let's move into another. I've actually quite enjoyed watching the NFC East this year. I point and laugh a lot, but I also squeeze out joy out of it. This Eagles-Cowboys game I'm excited about, partly because Bebsy and I are both on the over 55.5 rush yards for Jalen Hurts. Let's see what that has done now. Move over here. Over 55.5 for Jalen, and now if we wanted it, Tell me we beat this market move. Yes, 61.5. That's a nice one. Beat that by 6 yards, Pepsi. Eagles 4-9-1, 1-6 on the road at the Cowboys 5-9, 3-4 at home. We have Philly opening up as 1-point favorites. They're now 3-point favorites. Bebsy got in at that -1. The two moves Bebsy made before the Tuesday show were the Eagles -1 and the Rams +2.5. Did beat those moves handily. We're at AT&T Stadium, Arlington, Texas. Eagles coming off 33-26 loss to Arizona. Jalen Hurts, 24-44, 338 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He ran 11 times for 63 yards and 1 touchdown. And we expect him to be able to do that to this Cowboys defense as well. The only way the winner between these teams who won the last 4 division titles can keep that run going is if Washington loses to Carolina. Since 2017, when they won the Super Bowl, the Eagles are 11-2 in games they must win, or they'd be eliminated from playoffs or mathematically knocked out. Wow. Quarterback Darius Slay is expected to return after missing 1 game because of a concussion. They're still without starting safety Rodney McLeod, ACL tear, and starting quarterback Avonte Maddox with a knee injury. Cornerback Kevin Seymour, defensive end Josh Sweat were placed on injured reserve. Defensive end Derek Barnett, tight end Ricard Rodgers, and linebacker Duke Riley are all out. Defensive tackle Fletcher Cox is questionable. Cowboys are coming off 41-33 home win over the Niners. They were outgained 458 to 291, but no turnovers, and it was an easy win. Cowboys are a game back in the NFC East with 2 games remaining, but have to win both against Philadelphia and the Giants while Washington loses twice. Zeke Elliott hoping to play despite the ailing calf muscle. Cowboys are +7 in turnover margin the past 2 games after being one of the worst, -13 through the first 12. 7 takeaways in 2 games came after Dallas forced just 11 in their first 12 games. So Zeke, questionable. Defensive tackle Antoine Woods was put on injured reserve. Leighton Vander Esch, we know how important he is. He's out with an ankle injury. Blake Bell, their tight end for them, questionable with an illness that's not COVID. Safety Xavier Woods out. Cornerback Rashad Robinson out. Bebsy, very interesting game. Eagles, Cowboys. Talk to us about the Hurts prop and your look on Eagles -1.
Look, we just mentioned a bunch of important injuries to Dallas. And I haven't liked Dallas all year. I thought they were bad before Dak went down. I thought I just right away I knew that Dallas coming off of that win against the 49ers would have given them – and this is the other thing that I looked at right away as soon as the lines came out. And it was because I knew Dallas would be propped up after that victory over the Niners. But if you look beyond the score in that game, the Niners – dominated them for large chunks of that game. They killed them in yards. The only thing that cost them that game was brutal turnovers. So they're being falsely propped up right now with a couple of wins against not very good teams and not even convincing wins. And look, this Philly team has gotten considerably better under Hurts. Now, I don't know if they hate Wentz or what, or they just don't like this guy. Maybe they don't, because Wentz doesn't say the right things. Like the first thing he says as soon as Jalen Hurts comes in is, I have no interest in being here if I'm a backup. Just kind of came off like a sucky baby. Just shut up. Just shut up and let it develop for a bit. Just accept your role as a backup because you've been playing like one, so that's why you got put there. So maybe this team legit didn't like him because they are playing – the whole team is playing better around Hurts. So I just feel like Philly is rising right now, and Dallas is improperly propped up by a couple of bad wins.
Nutflush Allen is on the touchdown for Jalen Hurts. That's at +105. What do you think of that look?
Sorry, what is
it? Rushing touchdown +105 for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I like that. I think with the season on the line and an outside chance to still get in, I like the way Philly's going to play in this one. I don't have any faith in the way Dallas is going to. And look, with that prop, you were obviously looking at a quarterback sneak on the goal line, but we also know that he can open it up.
Also, I'm agreeing with the chat here. The chat's all very interested in this over. Without Leighton Vander Esch, I could see the Eagles getting points.
Just to quickly answer WTF here, I absolutely do. I do not hide that I hate Dallas, but Yeah, I really try and eliminate my fan bias. Look, I bet against the Niners as well. I try to be very honest and take my fandom out of it.
What do you think of this total here, Bebsy, over 50.5?
I could see this going over, but I have to believe that the Dallas offense can put up points here.
The Eagles team totals at 26.5. Would you prefer taking the over 26.5 for the Eagles or the over 50.5 full game?
I think Eagles. I like that better. I'd sort of be contradicting myself if I didn't, but I think that the Eagles can play some ball here. I really do. I do apologize to any Dallas fans, MJ. I'm sorry if I've hurt your feelings.
I think I want both teams' offense. But again, that Cowboys score was just ballooned up by the Niners turnovers. So I think I should trust the Eagles to get over 26.5, but that's juiced to minus 125. And is 56% of the time, are the Eagles going to score 27 or more? So what is your thoughts on this Eagles defense? They're getting Darius Slay back. No McLeod, as we know. No Avonte Maddox. What do you think of this Eagles defense?
Well, I think getting Maddox or losing Maddox hurts, but getting Slay back is huge. So, and look, I don't trust the Dallas O-line to protect Andy Dalton long enough to get it out to these guys. So, as much as there are some injuries that do factor in, this Philly D-line has dialed up pressure all year long. And this Dallas O-line is patchwork right
now. Ooh. Okay. I feel like the Eagles are going to get theirs. Chris Gill says, Zeke active today. Love Hurts touchdown today. Big day, but big day Miles Sanders today. No Van Der Esch. Okay, I'm going to add the Jalen Hurts touchdown prop with my man Nutflush Allen. That's at plus 105 at Bet365. Jalen Hurts TD. And I just feel like I'd be going all in here with the Eagles over 26.5. Is there anything you want to add here, Bebsy?
No, I'm good with my action in this game. I did, yeah. Jay Seaton saying Dallas Goedert over 31. I really wanted to jump on that last night. Hurts is super low. Sorry, not Zach Ertz is super low as well. But I'm still figuring out who the targets are for Jalen Hurts.
Ron Walsek is on the over in the Cowboys game. JC didn't give me his final score. Eagles 34, Dallas 20. No, I haven't taken it yet, Bob, but I just don't like the juice. These minus 125s will kill us. I may take it. I am adding the Jalen Hurts prop. Woo! Intex, I hate hearing that, my man. Eating white rice and Schlitz beer? Come on. Intex, we'll get you back on. I've had a giant Christmas season, but that could go away quickly. So let's not slap ass. We're going to move on to this Sunday nighter here, 8:20 p.m. Eastern. Tennessee Titans at Green Bay Packers. Titans 10-4, 5-1 on the road. Packers 11-3, 6-1 home. Lambeau Field, Green Bay, Wisconsin, 30 Fahrenheit. Snow showers, 15 miles per hour. This is going to be a great football game, baby. Green Bay opens up at -4. They go down to -3. I take them at -3 at -110. It's now juiced. If you want Green Bay, it's between -120 and -130. And some books have moved it to 3.5. I'm on the Packers -3, -110. Bebsy's on Derrick Henry over 105.5 rush yards. Let's see if that has moved here. I mean, I guess we got to. I've always had that rule of over 99.5 rush yards. Never take a triple-digit player prop. But if there was someone to do that with, this might be your man. Derrick Henry has gone up 2 yards. It's gone up 2 yards, Bebsy, now at 107.5. Prince of the City says, take everyone in the game to score a TD in Green Bay, Tennessee. Christopher Larson says that total now at 53.5. Down from 56, says Snow isn't that big of a deal. Anthony Mastronardi, great to see you, Anthony Mastronardi. We love you, my man. You're our fam. Says Packers are as fake as Steelers. They've beat an AFC team this year. They've only beat one playoff team. Nuke Worker is with me on the Steelers. Okay, let's start with Nuke Worker is with me on the Packers. Let's start with the Titans here. Titans coming off easy 46-25 win. Very easy win. It's their 4th win in 5 games. They lead the NFL with 436 points. Packers are 3rd with 434. It's all very tight up there at the top. Titans need a win to clinch a playoff berth for a 2nd straight year and 3rd in 4 seasons. Tennessee can clinch with a loss by either Baltimore or Miami. Titans can clinch their first AFC South title since 2008 with a win and a loss by the Colts. Titans are 3-0 against the NFC North. They just soundly beat Detroit last out. Titans average 399.4 yards per game to rank 2nd in the league. Tennessee, 15 in NFL history with 5 straight games with at least 420 yards of offense, 30 points there. Healthy group. Linebacker Derek Robinson out. Cornerback Chris Milton has been placed on injured reserve. Then we have this Green Bay Packers squad coming off 24-16 home win over the Panthers. They've won 4 straight. They were outscored and outgained quite badly in the second half against the Panthers, but they seem to only turn it on when they need to. And that was the reason why I took them here. I really think the Titans are going to force them to turn it on. They've already clinched the NFC North title, but they can clinch the top seed in the NFC playoffs this week if they beat Tennessee while the Rams beat or tie Seattle. Aaron Rodgers throwing NFL leading 40 touchdown passes to 4 interceptions. Mason Crosby's kicked 8 straight field goals. He's 16 for 16 on the year. He has missed 3 extra pointers. They have 7 players going to the Pro Bowl. Adams, Jair Alexander, that's Devontae Adams. Offensive tackle David Bakhtiari, guard Elgin Jenkins, Jones, Rogers, Zadarius Smith, tight end Jay Sternberger, safety Will Redmond are out. Guard Simon Stepaniak and running back Jamal Williams are doubtful. Noli No says Rogers at home is scary. Bebsy, take it away. The Sunday nighter, Titans, Packers.
I said this on Tuesday. Just as a football fan, I think this is going to be a really fun show for them. The only prop or the only thing that excited me was the Henry prop. And I think some of the guys in the chat have already said this, but the snow favors a guy like Derrick Henry. He can downhill it and watch these Green Bay defensive backs make business decisions left, right, and center. Yeah, you said it, Jimmy. It's tough to take a triple-digit rush prop, but the way Henry's been playing and the way they've been feeding him the rock, I'm still very confident in this. I think he gets up around 140 yards today, just because that's going to be their offense is smash this ball down the throats of a very weak run defense. So love that play. There's some other props in play. I do think the Aaron Jones rush prop makes a lot of sense, but look, I don't think the snow is going to be that huge of a factor. It's more wind and cold that I think will play in this game, but I'm sitting back and watching everything else. I think over is a look if you gave me a free play, but not enough for me to jump on it.
I think the Aaron Jones rush prop is a great look.
Yeah. I hesitate. I thought about going on that as well, but
do you remember what the number was last night?
I think it was 67.5 last night. Can't be certain.
So it's gone up to 69.5. This correlates with my action. Also, the Packers don't have Jamal Williams, or at least he's doubtful. David Trump wants to know where the money is. Why don't we take a look here in this spot? We have 66% of the cash on the over, 73% of the tickets on the over, 61% of the cash on the Packers, 55% of the tickets on the Titans. Anthony Mastronardi says Henry will have a career game in rushing today. Ooh.
I mean, who meets him in the hole? That's my question. They don't have a thumper or a fearless guy who's just going to run into that gap and try and take him on.
I like Aaron Jones. Here. I think this is a 2 yards worse than what I could have got it at, but I'm going to move on at 69.5. I'm going to move on the Aaron Jones prop. It just goes perfectly with my Packers -3. Aaron Jones over 69.5 rush yards for me. -120. Bebsy on the Derrick Henry over 105.5 rush yards. And we move on to the Monday Nighter. We'll cap the Monday Nighter. We'll do best bets. And then we'll have a lot of time to go to the window. All right, let's go. Monday, December 28th. This is a absolute beauty for us up north. Bills, Patriots, Gillette Stadium. And we have a chance here to sweep the Patriots. 40 Fahrenheit, cloudy, 5 miles per hour. I doubled up on the Bills. First half, full game. So I got -4 first half and -7 full game. Let's see what it's at right now. If you want the Bills, it has moved to 7.5 at a bunch of books and the leading indicator books. The first half, I imagine, would still be at 4. Oh, sorry. Let me just move the spreads here. I imagine that it's going to be at 4, and it isn't. It's at 3.5 juiced. The 4 I got was -110. All right, Bills are rolling. Coming off a 48-19 beatdown of the Broncos in Denver. Bills won 24-21 on November 1st in Buffalo against the Patriots, giving them a chance to sweep the Patriots. Patriots haven't been swept by a division opponent in 19 years. Bills are on a primetime roll. Won their last 3 national TV games, including a win at Denver on Saturday. The Bills' primetime record against the Patriots is 6-35. 0-6 in night games against the Belichick-coached Patriots. 0-8 overall. Josh Allen is the second NFL player with at least 8 rushing TDs and 30 passing. Only Cam Newton in 2015 has done that. This is a healthy team. Now, they did put John Brown on injured reserve, wide receiver John Brown. Tight end Reggie Gilliam's out. But this is a healthy squad. Safety Jaquan Johnson's questionable. Then we have the Patriots, and I don't know, Betsy, if you know who is starting, but I think that Stidham could easily get the start here. And I don't know if anybody has any insight on that. Patriots coming off 22-12 loss in Miami, knocked them out of the playoffs for the first time in 12 seasons. They'll finish at 500 or worse for the first time since 2000, the year they drafted Bradley. Tight end Jordan Thomas is on the reserve COVID list. Then they have a ton of players questionable, as they have all year. Defensive end Lawrence Guy, questionable with a shoulder injury. Linebacker Juwan Bentley, questionable with a shoulder injury. Dante Moncrief, wide receiver, questionable with a thigh injury. J.J. Taylor, running back, questionable quadricep injury. Nick Folk, back injury, listed as questionable. Running back Damian Harris, ankle, listed as questionable. And I could keep going. So Stephon Gilmore was placed on injured reserve. We talked about that earlier in the week. Julian Edmond is not being seen at practice. He's still on injured reserve, so he's not coming back. And then look at these guys questionable here. Adam Butler, defensive tackle. Defensive end Deshaun Bauer. Shalik Calhoun, linebacker. Long snapper Joe Cardona. Defensive tackle by Brian Cowart. Jermaine Eluemunor, guard. Offensive tackle Justin Huron. Cornerback J.C. Jackson. Linebacker Anthony Jennings. Cornerback Jonathan Jones. Guard Shaq Mason. Matthew Slater, wide receiver. I mean, this is a beat-up team that sort of feels like they're throwing the flag. But this is a divisional game, and they care about beating the Bills. Gerald Jones says Bills one of the best bets of the week. Bebsy, Monday Nighter, Bills Patriots.
Well, look, I said it Tuesday, and my fear in this game. Look, I want to be bullish on the Bills, but it's the Bills versus Bill, and Belichick has had the upper hand for 2 decades. Now, I want to believe that the game they won earlier this year was the monkey off their back, and then they'll come out and just absolutely smash New England in this. But I need to see it happen first before I can believe in it. I really, really think, like, my brain says the Bills should go out and dominate. They really should. I think that mental block was broken. They've been an absolutely fantastic team since they beat the Pats earlier this year. And look, I think they should unload and take out frustration on it. But it's prime time. It's Belichick versus the Bills facing a sweep against this team. So I can't do it. I cannot do it. I can't jump in on it. I want to. I want a first half full game the shit out of this, but I can't.
I know, man. I know. A couple of sons with me here. Bob Ruby rolled with me here. And Nutflush says, would you take the Jags team total under 19.5? My only concern is late in the game. Bears are up big, but I didn't even take the Bears to win the game. So if I had a free play, I probably would take the under 19.5 with Glenn starting. Okay. Gerald Jones says Buffalo has talent. Says since Milano came back, the defense from last, Matt Milano is a huge piece of this. David Sharp says if Bills do unload, they finally unlock the ticket. They will be Super Bowl bound if they blow Pats out. Jay Thornton saying not betting against Belichick in this spot, but love the Bills. New Quirker says hate to give a full TD with the Bills.
The Bills, in theory, should win this game by 20 points. They should. They should absolutely dominate, but we know that's not going to be the case.
Who do you expect to start at quarterback for the Patriots?
I think they announced Cam is started.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Turnsey was saying the pass prop for Newton. I was looking at it, but I couldn't find it yesterday. He's saying the pass prop is pretty high.
Why don't we take a look at what that pass prop is right now? Pull it up at FanDuel. So we're looking at a Cam Newton pass prop here on the Monday Nighter. And what are we going to get here? Monday Nighter, Cam Newton pass prop. Player props. And, yeah, it's not available there. Is it available?
No, he was just saying if it was.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not available yet. Is that something you're going to look to go underneath it?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to have – like he beat his 3-game total in one game last week. I don't think he does that again, especially not against this Bills defense. If the Pats keep this close, it'll be an extremely low-scoring game.
Yes, and that's why Nutflush is on the Bills team total over. It's juiced to the under at 27.5 about 365. I get it. I don't know how many points the Patriots are going to put up, so I think I can catch that without that going over. So I'm just going to stay with my Bills double up here. First half -4, full game -7. Let's exercise some demons. That's what I would like to have happen. There was a thought, as some people had mentioned earlier in the week, that there could be snow at Gillette Stadium. There won't be. Initially, it was supposed to be raining. It's not anymore, just cloudy. All right, let's go to best bet time. Best bet time, Bebsy. And we'll go over your additions as well. So why don't we do that quickly here? This is Bebsy's action. He's on Rams +2.5, Eagles -1, Browns -9.5, Colts first half -0.5, Colts full game -1.5, Washington -2, Derrick Henry over 105.5 rush yards, David Montgomery over 81.5 rush yards, Jalen Hurts over 55.5 rush yards, Jonathan Taylor over 53.5 rush yards, Tyreek Hill over 76.5 receiving yards, Logan Thomas over 47.5 receiving yards. And Bob Ruby saying that Newton's number is 167 passing yards. Wow. It's wildly low. Now let's go to Bebsy's additions. You have a question beside the Deshaun Watson prop. Did you want to move on that?
No.
All right.
No, I don't. That could change in the next 8 minutes. I forgot I was thinking about that.
And then the Colts Steelers total was so low that I thought about going over top of it. Just move this over here. I thought about going over top of it. 42. What do you think, Bebsy?
Sorry, what's that?
That total's gone so low in Colts Steelers, all the way down to 42.
I don't know. It could be a trench war in that game.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it off. Then we've added nothing in Bears Jags. I am adding the under 44 in Giants Ravens. Tell me that's still there. It is not. Oh, that's upsetting. Under 16.5 team total for the Giants. Oh, that's fucking annoying. Okay, Bebsy. Oh, did you add? Yeah, Bebsy and I both added the Le'Veon Bell receiving props, and Bebsy added the over 80.5 receiving yards for Kelsey. Is that FanDuel? All right, and then
which was more to protect my Tyreek Hill bet than anything.
And then the Herbert quarterback. The Herbert pass props are still not available for me, so we will wait on that. And then I feel like I should take the Chargers here, but I guess there's just too many injuries on defense. I'll let that go. We've done nothing, no additions here in Panthers, Washington. Bebsy's on Washington, Logan Thomas, as I said earlier. Bebsy's on the Rams plus 2.5, no additions there. I added the Hurts TD, and I'm very close to adding the team total over 26.5 for the Eagles. Bebsy's just on the Eagles and Hurts over 55.5 yards. And then I added Aaron Jones over 69.5 rush yards. And Bebsy added nothing in that game. He's already on that Derrick Henry over 105.5. And then Bebsy added nothing for Bills Patriots. Okay, Bebsy, take it away. Best bet.
I think my best bet is still the Montgomery rush prop in this one. I'm glad I got it before it moved up incrementally, but I think until the books realize that is the only thing going for this offense right now is the way they've been feeding the rock to Montgomery. I love that look, and until it fails me.
I'm still bullish on this Le'Veon Bell spot. I think he shows something today. I really do. I think he showed something today. If I was comparing that best bet to something else I really like Packers -3. I think they show out. I think they step up against good opponents. All right, and then I'm going to tweet out Bebsy's additions, and then I'm going to bet mine and tweet them out, and we're in business. Let's all put our best bets in the chat here, if you guys don't mind. See what everybody's best bets are. Slats 45 is also Montgomery over. Need Browns to lose to win the Survivor. I'll be cheering for you, Slats. That's part of the reason why this month has been so glorious. Jay agreeing with me here. Nutflush saying, even though the Chargers defense is hurt, offense will still move the ball and get 25 points. Should be easy. Bob Rube, much love to you. And it's moved to 85.5. Dylan says 20 minutes to spare today. Yeah, make yourself a sandwich. I got a turkey sandwich ready to eat. Viper MB's best bets, KC Atlanta over. Jay Thornton best bet, Eagles -1. Yes, Intex wishing everybody a happy new year. I'll see you guys before the new year. We have our Tuesday show too before the new year, so we will have more. Fat Fab win best bet, Jonathan Taylor rush yards. That's also a Bebsy spot. Alex Ramirez best bet, Steelers. New Corker best bet, Baltimore -9.5. Bebsy, let's have ourselves a giant Sunday. It's been a great month. Let's keep it rolling. North Ender best bet, Chargers Broncos. Robert Cherry, Packers -3, Bears moneyline, Chargers Colts. Dylan Turner, I'm not sure, but we're going to be filming NBA throughout the week. Bebsy, my man, any last words for these great cappers in the chat?
Thanks for joining us as usual, Canadian Capper. I expect to get my loonie in the mail. You guys are great. So much fun capping with you guys. And, happy holidays, happy New Year. We'll see you before the New Year, but much love, guys. Let's get paid.
Let's get paid in full. Thanks for watching.